The prisoner shall be delivered to the executioner, who shall tie his hands, put him into a boat, take him to the lower hut, there strip his bound hands down over his knees, place a stick between his knees and arms, and thus push him into the water, and let him perish in the water. Thereby he shall have atoned to the law and justice. His property shall also be confiscated by my lords.
What possible offense could have led to such ghastly punishment? This was the sentence awaiting those who could not, with good conscience, accept that being baptized as uncomprehending infants could possibly fulfill the admonition of Christ, "He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved," and so chose to be baptized again as believing adults upon their profession of faith in Jesus Christ. As fugitives, the Anabaptists fled and hid themselves. One remarkable place of their refuge was Die Täuferhöhle. The term Anabaptist was never chosen by those to whom it was applied. There was nothing noble or respectable about it. Rather, it was a disparaging term of derision used by those who violently opposed those simple gospel adherents who rejected infant baptism as an unbiblical, meaningless trivialization of a genuine faith, which alone avails to the saving of the soul. To them, baptism was not to be a perfunctory practice, but a true rite of consecration into a dedicated life of faith, arising from a personal, willful experience of repentance from sin and faith in Jesus Christ. They rejected the baptism of uncomprehending infants as invalid. They accepted rebaptism upon an affirmative confession of faith in Jesus Christ. This was viewed as an extreme affront by the Catholic and Protestant state church entities, and the persecution they exacted on the Anabaptists was merciless. Banishment, confiscation of money and property, imprisonment, torture, and even death was the lot for these people of faith. They fled, they hid, they quietly persevered. They found quiet sanctuary in the dens and caves of the earth, within Die Täuferhöhle, the Anabaptist cave. This cave afforded the persecuted Anabaptists in the 16th century refuge in quietness and prayer. The forests and meadows upon the hills of the Zürcher Oberland, Zurich Highlands, bask under the glow of the afternoon sun. The peaceful vista belies the dark and troubled history of bygone years, when storms of persecution beset the land. Cattle graze undisturbed upon the lush open pastures, the gentle chiming of their traditional bells gracing the air with a sound heard for centuries in this place. Here in this area called the Hollenstein, the Herentobel and Hollensteintobel rivulets unite to form the beginning of the river Ahr. The footpath to Die Täuferhöhle crosses a pasture called Chapelain. In the Middle Ages, a number of church structures with an adjacent cemetery stood near this present-day barn. In the upper part of the Chapelain field stood the medieval church with its tower. Peasants and landowners, pastors, chaplains, gravediggers, altar boys and nuns, Anabaptists and bailiffs. They all walked these lonely paths, but for entirely different reasons. At the beginning of the year 1525, The first Anabaptist community in the world, the Swiss Brethren, is founded in Zurich. Its leaders are Konrad Grebel, Felix Manz, and Jörg Blaurock. The men are well-educated friends and one-time followers of the reformer Huldrych Zwingli. Over time, they come to understand that Zwingli has compromised his vision for reform in the church with the views of the Zurich City Council. On January 17, 1525, a public debate is held, Zwingli on the one side, Grebel leading the arguments on the other. Not surprisingly, the council declares Zwingli the victor. The Zurich City Council further declares rebaptism a capital criminal offense, cynically prescribing drowning as the method of execution, their own mode of rebaptism. Despite this edict and the ensuing persecution, the spark of faith has been kindled. The truth of the gospel has inwardly enlightened seeking hearts and inspired them to embrace it whatever the cost, even at the hazard of their own earthly lives. This map shows the locations of dwellings and secret meeting places of the Anabaptists in the 16th and 17th centuries. Although the exact location of Die Täuferhöhle is well known today and can easily be found by following a well-worn footpath, centuries ago its location was veiled in complete secrecy by the thick, dark woods. For 3 weeks, Felix Manz lies hidden in the Gerenbad region, presumably aided by local farmers sympathetic to his teaching, from the bailiffs relentlessly stalking him. For at least a part of this time, he was most likely secreted in the Anabaptist cave. Despite the most intensive of searches, he was never discovered until he was betrayed. The present-day footpath to Die Täuferhöhle is no longer fraught with the dangers of past centuries. Handrails and footbridges provide some security for the once treacherous walk. The way is now well-traveled and clear, dark and obscure no longer. We walk along easily, thoughtfully, peacefully, enveloped by the brightness of day. The Anabaptists of old traversed this same ground cloaked by the deep gloom of night, treading on silently, furtively, fearfully, lest they be seized and imprisoned. The footpath steepens and narrows as we ascend ever higher. Just beyond the final rise in the pathway, our destination appears, barely visible in deep shadow, a dark, gaping cleft in the rock face, Die Täuferhöhle. In 1750, a Beretzwil priest disparagingly referred to this place as the Baptist Hole. But for those whose lives hung in the balances of the court of human judgment, Die Täuferhöhle was a sanctuary from the torrent of affliction. But the Lord is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge. Psalm 94:22. We cannot know with any certainty the full history of Die Täuferhöhle, how many sought refuge here, who they were, the exact life circumstances that caused them to come, much less the suffering and misery they carried. The existence of this place and its location were well-kept secrets. No one ever would have written such things down. These are matters known only to God. It was to Him the Anabaptist believers of so long ago had turned in faith. Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of God commit the keeping of their souls to Him in well-doing, as unto a faithful Creator. 1 Peter 4:19. Their trust was not misplaced.